Okay, now moving on to the second news update. Prohibition is collapsing all across America. Rolling.
So right now, more and more laws are being proposed that would really shake things up. From New York to Tennessee and Colorado to Pennsylvania, but perhaps one of the best cannabis markets in America was pretty much destroyed overnight. Earlier this year, Michigan Democrats implemented a new weed tax, pushing the total tax on the good herb to almost 40%. And it's not hard to see why this was such a foolish move, as only 2 months later, sales have dropped, and now lawmakers are looking to cancel that very tax increase.
We're not here to make an extra penny off of an implied tax.
For Harrison Carter with NAR Cannabis in Monroe, it's been business as usual lately, even with a new 24% wholesale tax on recreational cannabis statewide. However,
there's no secret in the state of Michigan, our industry is struggling.
Data from the Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency says that in 2025, adult use dispensaries saw $3.17 billion in sales, $100 million less than the year before. The average price for an ounce of flower also dropped to $58.20, down more than $10 from 2024 and more than $35 from 2023. And in terms of business growth, by the end of last year, Michigan had 2,171 active cannabis licenses, 85 less than the prior year.
As Ohio builds it out and becomes more adept at marketing as Michigan is, we'll lose all those out-of-state customers.
Republican State Senator Joe Bellino Jr. says the new tax is too much burden on businesses like Carter's. The 24% tax is on top of an existing 10% excise tax and 6% sales tax, meaning dispensaries see 40% in taxes as a whole.
And you added 24%, and bam, now you're 40% above. So you got to watch it. The tax will kill a big part of the border business. That's what's going to happen. It's going to kill it.
So high taxes has been destroying legal markets since legalization became a thing. I mean, just have a look at California. Tons of local small businesses are suffering because of those high taxes. And now Michigan is following that California playbook. And they've implemented some crazy tax hikes. And it's absolutely clear to see, as according to this article, Michigan's marijuana tax experiment should be an urgent warning to other states. Do not follow that experiment. So we all understand why lawmakers implement these higher taxes. They want to generate more revenue, more taxes and more profits for the state. But when we flip the script, a lot of times these higher taxes result in lower sales. And according to this article, in an effort to raise short-term revenue, Michigan recently adopted a cannabis tax structure that's already proving economically counterproductive and strategically short-sighted. For years, Michigan was regarded as one of the most successful legal cannabis markets in America. The explanation was simple. Michigan wisely adopted one of the lowest cannabis tax rates in the entire country. Previously, they had an effective tax rate of 16%. By comparison, California's tax rate was twice as high, even approaching 40% in some cities. Now, because Michigan adopted the view that cannabis should be treated more like medicine than a vice, the taxes remained low. But now, what happened? Why is everything changing?
The controversial marijuana wholesale tax went into effect January 1st, putting an extra 24% charge on the books for distributors to pay for road work. As political reporter Remington Hernandez tells us, we're now getting a look at how the industry is being impacted as some lawmakers seek a repeal.
A bipartisan group of senators wants to see the marijuana tax structure return to what it was in 2018 when voters approved recreational use.
When the wholesale tax was introduced, analysts projected it could bring in more than $400 million. But now, new state data shows a steep drop-off in revenue from December to January when the tax took effect, from $269.2 million to $226.4 million, a 16% decline.
We might not get the revenue that was expected on the wholesale side for roads. At the same time, that will mean that revenue is going down in other sources on the excise tax and the sales tax that currently are going into other parts of funding services for people.
So you guys can see how counterintuitive this whole thing is. Lawmakers want more money. They say let's tax the stoners, increase the taxes to almost 40%. Obviously, people are like, well, I'm just going to buy less. I'm not going to hit up the dispo. Let me hit up the black market. Let me grow my own. There are tons of options. And now lawmakers see that those sales are dropping. So they're like, okay, we're actually going to lose out on the taxes. We're not going to get the generated revenue that we thought we're going to get. And what we were getting, that's actually now declining. So we're just losing all around. Maybe we should repeal and roll back the tax completely.
Republican Senator Jonathan Lindsay opposed the tax from the start. Among other things, he worries the wholesale tax is hurting business and revenue.
I have heard, especially from locals, some of them have described to me that they've already had to do layoffs or, make other adjustments that, I don't think we've seen the full magnitude of the impact yet, but it certainly has set in and already had deleterious effects.
Under Lindsay's bill, only the 10% excise tax would remain. Despite bipartisan support, Republican Joseph Aragona, who chairs the House Regulatory Reform Committee, doesn't see a future for the repeal.
It's going to be tough getting that proposal out of the Senate, number one. Number two, once it comes to the House, whether it's in my committee or appropriations, we're going to have to take a hard look and say, all right, if these dollars are supposed to be going towards roads, then kind of what do we replace it with?
Like Lindsay, Aragona doesn't support new taxes, but with a $900 million budget shortfall expected for 2028, there's not much wiggle room to replace the wholesale tax.
It was tough to get that deal done back in the fall. This is part of that deal. Do you really want to go back to the drawing board and reduce it?
And the truth is, you guys may have to do just that. Go back to the drawing board and reduce it. Because if you leave things as they are, tons of folks are no longer going to hit up the legal markets. They're going to find their medicine through alternative routes. And what I found really interesting about this whole thing is that traditionally Republicans are against legalization. They've been against the good herb for quite some time now. But we are seeing a change where Republicans are hopping on board with legalization. And on the flip side, Democrats, which you traditionally would associate with being pro-legalization, they're just taxing legal markets to death, because for them it's all about making money. It's all about taxing the stoners and using that money for their pet projects.
Aragona says there are options like taxing marijuana exports, but contends changes shouldn't be made until the budget is sorted out. Lindsay feels the state should make cuts as a replacement.
My preference is that the state of Michigan stop growing larger, live within its means. It takes enough from the people.
Even if Lindsay's bill fails to pass, the tax is still at risk as a lawsuit from the industry heads to trial seeking to stop it.
And that's just the truth about it. When lawmakers consider the good herb to be a vice rather than a medicine, they will tax it and tax it to death because they have no care, no regard, or no sympathy for those people who are actually using it. Now, another state where we may see change this year is over in Pennsylvania. It definitely feels like it's just a matter of time before they legalize recreational herb. And according to this article, legalizing in Pennsylvania would generate almost $500 million in revenue by 2028 under the governor's new plan. Now, what I found interesting about this whole thing is that the Democrat governor, Josh Shapiro, his plan for legalization does include a 20% wholesale excise tax as well as a 6% state sales tax. So that pushes the total tax to around 26%. And to me, that still seems like a relatively hefty tax, but according to this, it's all about generating profits for the state. And the truth is, we've heard mumblings about Pennsylvania being ready to legalize for at least the last year and a half. But where has it all gone? What's actually happened? Why has nothing rolled out yet? Have a look.
Governor Shapiro unveiled his state budget proposal yesterday. He touched on everything from utilities to agriculture to funding first responders.
House Democrats have been busy pushing for one of his more controversial agenda items. Harry Murphy joins us now to explain. Harry.
Alicia and Valerie, Pennsylvania House Democrats are once again calling on their colleagues in the Senate to work with them, work on adult cannabis use legislation that some Republicans are calling crazy.
The House has done its work in passing an adult use cannabis bill over to the Senate, and we need our colleagues in the Senate to finally act on it.
Pennsylvania House Democrats, echoing calls from Governor Shapiro on Tuesday.
What this budget does do is finally regulate and tax skill games and pass comprehensive cannabis reform in Pennsylvania.
House Bill 1200, which was introduced by Democrats last year, is currently stuck in committee.
Now, last year, we did bring you guys the news about this very House bill, House Bill number 1200. And according to this House bill, it would have legalized recreational sales, but all the stores would have been run by the state. And that's a very dangerous situation to be in.
Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman explaining part of the reason Republicans opposed it.
When the House Democrats passed recreational marijuana last year, and they came up with that crazy plan to have the state stores implement it, we heard nothing from the governor on whether or not he'd even sign the bill.
The proposal from PA Democrats seeks to establish publicly owned and operated cannabis shops across the state to help fuel an economic engine and implement regulations that surrounding states may not have.
Without proper controls in place, we risk turning Pennsylvania into the new playground for corporate cannabis. We have the opportunity to rein in a market that is completely deregulated in terms of potency, content, or labeling.
But critics say the money that the state would earn isn't worth the cost on PA communities.
When it comes to health care, when it comes to education, when it comes to law enforcement, when you increase access to these high potency products, you're going to have costs. it's a cost I don't want to see Pennsylvania pay.
So when it comes to legalization in Pennsylvania, I'm all for it. But the truth is, I do think that some of these smaller mom and pop shops, they definitely should have an opportunity to set up businesses rather than simply state-run shops. And recently there was a poll which was conducted in Pennsylvania, and a lot of voters agreed with that sentiment. And another poll also says that the majority of Pennsylvania voters do in fact back legalizing the good herb. Now, Pennsylvania does have legal medical herb, but not yet recreational. And when it comes to medical, they take things very seriously. And I'm going to show you guys just how seriously in a bit. But before we get into that, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or cop some merch from our merch store. We got that new American grown hoodie, the good herb. Use that code ICANNTHC and grab it now. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics. Use the code LEGAL. It works on the bundle and the seeds.
A nondescript building once a rag factory. Now,
it's a legal marijuana company that produces plants to help with the medical industry.
the company is Jushi, which operates in 6 states. Security manager Brian Nikoloff assures this place is secure.
I'm not allowed to say exactly how many cameras we have, but we can pretty much tell when an ant is crawling around.
From plant security to keeping the plants secure, all visitors must wear PPE from head to toe to keep outside contaminants out. That includes State Representative Abby Major, a Republican who's partnering with Democrats on a bill to legalize recreational marijuana.
Some plants are, 5-foot plants, some are about 3-foot plants.
From growing to harvesting to manufacturing to packaging to testing, they proudly call themselves control freaks.
Peace of mind of knowing that all the genetics are here coming through clean, that everything is getting tested and is regulated. So it's added peace of mind of just knowing that what you're putting in and you're inhaling and what you're eating obviously is clean.
Products are tested twice for toxins and THC levels. Even the testers are tested.
We even vet our third-party testing labs. Every single one in the state we have vetted to make sure that, their methods are validated.
And personally, I think that is one of the biggest benefits of the legal market. The testing requirements and the safety standards, those are really important because we've seen already in legal states with legal markets situations where flour is contaminated with E. coli, salmonella, and all sorts of really bad stuff. But what's really great to see is that more and more folks are hopping on board with legalization, and it's a bipartisan issue. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, a lot more folks are consuming the good herb and want to see it legalized. And according to this next clip, more people are relying on the good herb to even get through their daily routines. Have a look.
Cannabis is ingrained in my brain. So when I wake up and I get up, it's like the coffee. It's like the coffee.
Miguel LaBoy has smoked pot recreationally for more than 50 years and is also among the millions who use the drug for its medicinal benefits.
They prescribed me cannabis when I had the chemotherapy. This is my only medication, cannabis.
But compared to when LaBoy started smoking in his teens, cannabis is much more accessible and potent. And contrary to popular belief, it is possible to develop an addiction. It's known as cannabis use disorder.
And I feel guilt to this day that I upsold high-potency THC concentrates. And I remember, still to this day, selling shatter to 15-year-olds who would come in as medical patients with their mother. That's what I saw happening in the dispensary. People who were casual users like myself were all of a sudden swept up in it and consuming more and more. When I started consuming the high-potency THC concentrates, it was really altering who I was as a person. I was waking up and doing it. I was driving to the dispensary and doing it in the car before I went in there. I was doing it during the break.
For some, the positives still outweigh the negatives. The drug is cited to help with pain and anxiety, but frequent or heavy use can lead to memory and lung issues. Kyle, who was granted partial anonymity, said he used the drug to help manage panic attacks, but has felt a growing dependency.
Yeah, I smoke every day. It's the only thing that can make me relax and just actually be able to not feel like I need to do 1,000 things at once. But because of that, you get a lot lazier, the brain fog isn't super fun, and then the brain fog can only be remedied by smoking again. So it kind of creates a pretty vicious cycle.
So despite the fact that more and more folks are using the good herb on a daily basis, those are the types of reportings that we hear, and that's from the Associated Press, AP. And even when they mention some of the benefits, it's almost like they hit you a double-handed backslap and say that there are also tons of negatives that you need to be aware of. And just having a look at the comment section of that video, a lot of folks appear to agree with that very sentiment. As one person says, most Americans are addicted to alcohol, and that is a dangerous drug. Another says, so which alcohol company funded this study? Someone else goes on to say, such a BS piece of news. Propaganda for Big Pharma. Alcohol, caffeine, and sugar, those are more addictive, and they cause more health problems for Americans. This is propaganda for Big Pharma without a doubt. Cannabis is safer than alcohol. Making it legal globally would make Big Pharma collapse. Do not believe the lies. So all those comments would tend to agree. The good herb has medical benefits that simply cannot be denied, and that's probably why even in currently prohibition states like Tennessee, medical herb could be on the way. Have a look.
For years, medical marijuana bills in Tennessee have gone up in smoke, but Republican lawmakers now say a program could be just a few years away.
I would say within the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see a framework set up here in Tennessee.
It comes after the federal government announced it would move marijuana from the most serious Schedule I drug category to a Schedule III, opening the possibility of legislation for some Republicans.
My biggest objections are being resolved by the federal government right now in rescheduling cannabis and rescheduling specifically marijuana and allowing the doctors to take over and make a determination on how and if these substances could be helpful.
And that right there is something that I've said so many times in the past on this channel. President Trump's executive order to reclassify the good herb from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 could be the push that some of these currently prohibitionist states and Republican lawmakers needed to finally get on board with legalization. And to me, that's a good thing.
Republicans say the current General Assembly isn't in a place to change the law just yet, but some hope they can start taking steps toward that.
I look forward to the day in Tennessee that we've set up a framework where people aren't just getting high, but there are some very sick people who don't want to be on opiates or something that comes across from a prescription from the pharmacist. They want something natural that's safe, and we know where it came from. We know it's not been perverted or adulterated with fentanyl or anything else. It's going to happen soon. The federal government has realized that they've been in the way for a long time.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have filed multiple medical marijuana bills this session, including a Republican-backed proposal that would launch a study into how ready Tennessee is for a medical marijuana program. In a rare move, the House just suspended the rules to move it forward to its first committee. Democrats say it's about time.
We look at the opioid crisis. We look at people who are addicted to painkillers. This is an alternative. It's one we should have invested in a long time ago.
While marijuana law reform advocates believe medical cannabis isn't a partisan issue, they say it is significant that more Republicans appear to be getting on board.
It is true, most of the support is from the Democrat side, and we would really like to show the Republicans that this is something that will benefit Tennesseans, and we can provide regulatory control to make sure that it stays in adults' hands and adults' use.
And that's exactly what we all want to see. More lawmakers on both sides of the aisle getting on board with legalization. Because the truth is, in 2026, a lot more folks do want to use medical herb, a plant which grows naturally, rather than Big Pharma's prescription drugs and opioids. Now, I do want to touch on a couple more states because there are new weed laws which are being proposed over in Colorado as well as New York. But let's start off first with New York because according to this, a new bill could bring cannabis drinks to New York liquor stores. Check it out.
In other news now, a local lawmaker is pitching new legislation that, if passed, would introduce cannabis-infused beverages to liquor stores all across New York State. One Rochester businessman is speaking out on this possible merger. Nelson Habecker has been a fixture at Rochester's East Avenue liquor store for over 40 years. Wine and spirits are his specialty. Weed drinks would be a new endeavor.
It's new to us, and I don't know how the people are going to respond to it, and I don't know how I want to respond to it, actually.
Senator Jeremy Cooney recently introduced a new bill which could allow New York liquor stores to sell cannabis-infused beverages. Those stores would only be able to stock low-dose options with a THC content of 5 milligrams or less. Owners like Habecker would have to apply for permits in order to sell them. After the legalization rollout, he says he has some concerns.
That's what worries me, is I saw the rollout of the initial cannabis in New York State, legalization of it, and it seemed like it was very difficult for it to get started. It's a give-take. I don't know where they're going with it yet, so I'd like the ability to understand better so that we can proceed in a manner that works well for us.
And I do think that that's something that a lot of folks want. Clarity as to what the laws are, how they can operate, and what they can and cannot do. Because we've seen New York, when they first legalized, a lot of folks were unsure as to how things were running. There were no licenses issued, no dispensaries set up, but there were a lot of folks growing their own. And what we see is that some of these newly legalized states do look to states which have legalized for quite some time now as a roadmap as to how to proceed when it comes to rolling out their own laws. And one of those states which is legalized for over a decade now is over in Colorado. And Colorado lawmakers are now discussing proposals for more cannabis-friendly events. Because, I mean, you can get the herb, but where's the events where you can consume it? Have a look.
Today at the state capitol, lawmakers are discussing a proposition for more cannabis-friendly events.
Yeah, finding a place to legally smoke marijuana in public is scarce. Now there's a small push to make public pot-friendly gatherings more accessible. Let's go to your reporter Kennedy Cook live at the state capitol. And Kennedy, these events would have some very strict rules here.
Yeah, definitely strict rules, Brian. We're talking about House Bill 261117. It would create a temporary permit for marijuana to be consumed, however not sold or distributed on the premises. Now, to be issued a hospitality permit, the applicant must hold an active marijuana hospitality business license, apply for the hospitality permit, and pay the application fee. However, we talked about strict. There are restrictions. A marijuana hospitality business or a participating license is prohibited from operating an event for longer than 72 hours, hosting more than 15 events per year, selling, transferring, or distributing marijuana at the event premise during an event, and transferring the hospitality permit to another person. Now, that committee hearing that is scheduled for today at 1:30 p.m.
So more 420 friendly events where folks can actually consume the good herb without fear of being prosecuted, that's fantastic. But let me know what you guys think about everything that we discussed in today's video. From the crazy Michigan tax hike that could potentially destroy the market that now lawmakers are trying to roll back, to potential legalization over in Pennsylvania as well as Tennessee, and also what's happening over in New York and Colorado. Drop your thoughts and concerns on all this in the comment section down below.
Okay, we seem to have a show with a bunch of good vibes, good energy. You guys leave your comments, questions down low. How you feel about this? This could be a start of something beautiful. Hopefully everything works accordingly, and we could get that to pass. Yeah. All right. That's today's news updates for the day. Now we're going to move on. Our next segment, Cooking with Cannabis. Today, Cooking with Cannabis. We have Wee Cosmic Brownies with the Hazy Kitchen. Yeah. These little things here got 60 milligrams each brownie. I want one of those brownies. Go ahead, Hazy Kitchen. Show us how to make it.
Hey, welcome back. Today I made cosmic brownies, but there's weed in it. This one might be my favorite recipe we've done so far. I'm not really a huge fan of regular cosmic brownies, but this version is so fucking dank. Seriously. So I'm so excited today to show you how I made 8 cosmic brownies with about 60 milligrams each. I started off by weighing out my weed. I'm going for about 480 milligrams total. Then I break my weed into slightly smaller pieces. I don't like to grind it because the weed flavor comes through a lot more in the butter if you do. Then I bake that at 240 degrees for about 35 minutes and start melting down my butter. I'm adding half a cup of water and 1/4 cup of butter to a saucepan. I'm going to melt that on a low heat until it is sitting at a stable temperature around 185 to 200 degrees. Then I add in my decarbed weed and cook that for about 2.5 to 3 hours, stirring every 30 minutes or so and checking regularly to make sure we're staying in that 185 to 200 degree range. When it's finished cooking, I strain out the weed. You can already see that layer of butter starting to form on top, but I put a lid on it and stick it in the fridge to help that solidify a little quicker. When it is solidified, I cut it with a knife and just pull the pieces of butter off of the water. I always weigh the butter at the end to see exactly how much I need to add for my recipe. I need 7 tablespoons total for this one. This recipe calls for melted butter, so I'm using a double boiler to heat that up until it is nice and melted. Then I'll add in my other ingredients, starting with 3/4 cup of brown sugar and just mixing that until it is really well combined. Next, I'll add 1 egg and an additional egg yolk, along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and again, I'm just mixing that really well. Next, we'll add in our dry ingredients, so I'm grabbing a sifter because I want to make sure no lumps get in, and I'm adding 1/2 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and just a pinch of salt. Then I'll sift that and throw away any of the lumps that are left at the end. Then we'll mix that really well until there are no more lumps of flour or cocoa powder in the batter. I'm pouring this into an 8 by 8 inch baking pan that I have lined with parchment paper, then just spreading the batter into the corners and trying to get as even of a layer as possible. Then I'll bake that at 350 for about 18 to 20 minutes. I check it with a toothpick just to make sure the center is fully baked, and then we'll start working on our ganache for the top. So on a double boiler, I'm adding 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and 2.5 tablespoons of heavy cream, and I'll just whisk that together over the heat until it is nice and smooth and there's no chocolate lumps left. Then I'll just pour that on top of the brownies and use my spatula to kind of spread it into the corners and get a good thin layer on top of the whole thing. I'm then going to leave it out for about 20 or 30 minutes to let that ganache stiffen up on top. Once that has set, we'll take it out of the pan, so I'm just using a knife to loosen the edge that is not lined, and then you can just really easily grab the parchment paper and just lift it out of the pan. Then I cut this. Measuring is optional, but we're going for 8 roughly even rectangles, and cosmic brownies are 2 squares that make up the rectangle. So for the last one, we are just going to kind of score the icing into those squares, but not cut all the way through, just kind of make a dent in the icing.
Hey, me again. I just wanted to quickly interject because I'm about to start decorating them in the video, and you're probably going to notice that I'm using mini M&Ms. I could not find these sprinkles. They're so hard to come by. I was going to order them. They weren't going to get here in time. No store near me had them. So I was like, well, whatever. Mini M&Ms are basically the same thing. Shot the whole video with mini M&Ms. Go to the grocery store the next day, and they have the audacity to suddenly stock the right thing. So I grabbed them and made another batch because I wanted the pictures to be kind of like as close to cosmic brownies as they could. But use what you have. I just kind of wanted to explain why the video isn't really matching the final product because I made 2 batches. Maybe I'm very extra. I don't know. Sorry.
And we're back, and we are decorating with whatever sprinkles we have available. You do have to kind of press them in with your fingers since the ganache is a little bit stiff, but it's not too hard. And once you are finished decorating, we are good to go. You can eat those as is. You can also be really crazy and make another batch when you find the right sprinkles. Whatever you want to do, do your thing. Like I said, these should be about 60 milligrams each, but with homemade edibles it is hard to tell, so just eat half if you need to, and remember it can take 2 to 3 hours for edibles to fully kick in. If you try making these at home, I would love to see pictures. You can find me on Instagram, and as always, thank y'all so much for watching.
Ooh, I know y'all want to try that. I want to try it too. 60 milligrams each. How many of you think you can eat? Go ahead, leave your comments and questions down low. How do you feel? Are you going to try this recipe? If so, bring me some brownies. Yeah. That was by Hazy Kitchen. You guys go ahead to go on their YouTube page, like, share, subscribe. My bad, y'all. Okay, moving on to product review. Yeah, product review is basically introducing you guys to the playing cards ideas. I have the prototype. They're not done. I told them to send me what they have so I could get a good look at it, get a feel for it, so I can play it. You know, see how smooth the game running. But you guys, hey, I'm working on it. Coming to you guys soon. Smoking near you soon. Wacky Leaf playing cards, baby. Wacky Leaf playing cards. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a Uno game for smokers. You got your Blaze It Up cards. You got your High Time cards. You got your Switch cards. You got your Puff Puff Pass cards. You have your Too High cards. Then you got a couple of Wacky Leaf characters over there. You got Rollback. Listen, be on the lookout for these Wacky Leaf playing cards. You hear me? They coming. They are coming. Okay? I have to just wanted to bring it out to you guys, introduce you guys to what I got coming. You know, I'm working on the bong version too. And also on product review, we got the new Wacky Leaf channel t-shirts that will be up soon. So y'all can start putting y'all orders in. Shirts are $35. Tray five. 100% cotton. You love this. Check me out. Yeah, you see Wacky on there. See the back. Yeah. You see the shirts? Oh, what's that? Yeah. So y'all go ahead, click on the link in the description so y'all can get y'all shirts. Wacky Leaf playing cards and Wacky Leaf channel t-shirts. That's our product review today. Yeah, the cards gonna be off the chain. A few people know about those. A few people know. And thank you for everybody that's been helping me play the game so we can see if it's a winner. But let's move on to the next segment. That was product review. All right. Now, what we have next is Strain Spotlight. And today's Strain Spotlight, we have every weed type and its effects explained in 22 minutes. Yeah.
Indica refers to a category of cannabis strains that are known for producing strong physical and sedating effects. These strains typically contain chemical profiles that emphasize relaxation, muscle release, and nervous system calming. When someone consumes an indica-dominant strain, the effects usually begin in the body before moving to the mind. The most noticeable effect is a body high. This means users often feel heaviness in their limbs, slower movement, and reduced physical tension. Muscles may loosen, breathing may feel deeper, and overall physical activity tends to decrease. This is why indica is commonly associated with couch lock, a state where the body feels too relaxed to move easily. Indica strains are frequently used to manage pain, inflammation, and sleep problems. The calming effect can reduce nerve sensitivity and dull discomfort. For people with insomnia, indica may shorten the time it takes to fall asleep and improve sleep depth. Mentally, indica usually produces a mild quieting effect rather than intense stimulation. Thoughts slow down, stress levels drop, and emotional tension decreases. Appetite stimulation is also common, leading to increased hunger. Because of these effects, indica strains are typically used in the evening or at night, when relaxation and rest are the main goals. Sativa refers to cannabis strains that are known for producing stimulating and mentally activating effects. These strains usually contain chemical profiles that promote alertness, increased sensory awareness, and faster thought patterns. When someone uses a sativa-dominant strain, the effects tend to appear first in the mind rather than the body. The primary effect of sativa is a head high. This means users often experience increased mental activity, heightened perception, and improved focus. Thoughts may feel quicker, ideas may flow more easily, and conversations may become more engaging. Many users report feeling more motivated and socially active after consuming sativa. Sativa strains are commonly associated with creativity and problem solving. Artists, writers, and musicians sometimes use these strains to enhance imagination and concentration. The mental stimulation can also make routine tasks feel more interesting and easier to complete. Physically, sativa usually produces lighter body effects compared to indica. Users may feel mild relaxation but rarely experience heavy sedation. Instead, there may be a subtle increase in physical energy and restlessness. However, because sativa increases mental activity, it can also intensify anxiety in some people. Rapid thoughts, elevated heart rate, and sensory overload may occur, especially at high doses. For these reasons, sativa strains are typically used during the daytime when energy and alertness are desired. Hybrid cannabis strains are created by crossbreeding indica and sativa plants. The purpose of hybridization is to combine specific traits from both categories into a single strain. As a result, hybrid effects can vary widely depending on the genetic balance and chemical profile of the plant. Some hybrids are indica dominant, meaning they lean more toward physical relaxation and sedation. Others are sativa dominant, producing stronger mental stimulation and energy. Balanced hybrids aim to provide an equal mix of both effects. The exact experience depends on the strain's cannabinoid and terpene composition. The defining feature of hybrids is flexibility. A hybrid may deliver mental clarity while also relaxing the body. Users might feel calm but focused, relaxed yet alert, or energized without feeling overstimulated. This makes hybrids suitable for many different situations. Because most modern cannabis strains are hybrids, pure indica or pure sativa varieties are now rare. Breeders continuously adjust genetics to target specific effects such as pain relief without drowsiness or relaxation without mental fog. Hybrids are often chosen by users who want customized effects. Instead of committing to full sedation or full stimulation, they can select strains that match their personal tolerance, activity level, and medical or recreational goals. OG Kush is a well-known cannabis strain that is valued for producing strong mental and physical relaxation at the same time. It is considered a hybrid, but its effects often feel balanced between calming the body and stimulating the mind. Its chemical profile is rich in THC and aromatic compounds that influence mood, stress response, and muscle tension. When OG Kush takes effect, users usually feel an initial mental lift. Stressful thoughts become quieter, worries feel less intense, and emotional pressure decreases. This early phase often brings a mild sense of happiness and mental clarity. People may feel more present and less overwhelmed by daily problems. As the high develops, physical relaxation becomes more noticeable. Muscles loosen, joints feel less stiff, and the body begins to feel heavier. This makes OG Kush useful for managing chronic pain, headaches, and physical discomfort. Unlike heavy indica strains, it does not always cause immediate drowsiness, allowing users to remain alert for some time. Because of its strong stress-relieving effects, OG Kush is commonly used for anxiety and mood-related issues. However, high doses can cause mental fog or mild paranoia in sensitive users. OG Kush is often used in the late afternoon or evening when relaxation is needed without full sedation. Blue Dream is a popular hybrid strain known for producing a gentle balance between mental stimulation and physical comfort. It is widely used by beginners because its effects are usually predictable, smooth, and easy to manage. Its chemical profile promotes mood enhancement without heavy sedation. The initial effect of Blue Dream is often a clear, uplifting mental state. Users may feel happier, more optimistic, and mentally focused. Negative thoughts tend to fade, and emotional tension decreases. This makes it useful for managing mild depression and everyday stress. Creativity is commonly enhanced under Blue Dream. Many users report improved imagination, better idea flow, and increased enjoyment of music, art, and conversation. The mental clarity allows people to stay productive while feeling relaxed. Physically, Blue Dream produces mild body relaxation. Muscles loosen slightly, and physical discomfort may decrease, but without causing heavy fatigue. This makes it suitable for daytime or early evening use. Because of its moderate strength and balanced effects, Blue Dream is often recommended for new users. It provides noticeable benefits without overwhelming the nervous system, reducing the risk of anxiety or mental overload. Sour Diesel is a sativa-dominant cannabis strain known for producing fast-acting and highly stimulating mental effects. It is recognized for its strong THC content and chemical profile that promotes alertness, energy, and heightened awareness. The effects of Sour Diesel usually appear quickly after consumption, often within minutes. The primary effect is an intense head high. Users commonly experience rapid thought patterns, increased mental activity, and sharpened focus. Ideas may flow more freely, and concentration on tasks can improve. This makes Sour Diesel popular among people who need motivation, mental drive, or creative stimulation. Emotionally, Sour Diesel often produces a strong mood lift. Feelings of fatigue, boredom, and low motivation may decrease. Many users report feeling more confident and socially engaged. Conversations may feel easier, and social anxiety can temporarily lessen. Physically, Sour Diesel produces minimal sedation. The body usually feels light and active rather than heavy or relaxed. Some users may feel restlessness or a mild increase in heart rate. Because of its strong mental stimulation, Sour Diesel can trigger anxiety or paranoia in sensitive individuals. Racing thoughts, nervousness, and sensory overload may occur at high doses. For this reason, Sour Diesel is best used during the daytime and in controlled amounts. Girl Scout cookies, commonly known as GSC, is a hybrid strain recognized for producing strong euphoria and mood-enhancing effects. It contains high THC levels and a chemical profile that influences emotional regulation, appetite, and sensory perception. The initial effect of GSC is usually a wave of happiness and mental pleasure. Users often feel emotionally uplifted, relaxed, and more positive. Stress and negative thinking tend to fade, making daily concerns feel less significant. This emotional shift is one of the strain's defining characteristics. As the high continues, physical relaxation becomes more noticeable. Muscles loosen, the body feels heavier, and physical tension decreases. However, this relaxation is usually paired with mental alertness, preventing immediate drowsiness. One of the most consistent effects of GSC is appetite stimulation. Many users experience strong hunger signals, commonly referred to as the munchies. This makes it useful for people struggling with appetite loss. Because of its high THC content, GSC can cause dizziness, dry mouth, and mental fog at higher doses. Moderate use helps maintain balance between euphoria and comfort. GSC is commonly used in social settings and relaxed evening environments. Gorilla Glue, also known as GG4, is a highly potent hybrid strain recognized for producing deep physical relaxation and strong mental effects. It contains very high THC levels and a chemical profile that strongly affects the nervous system, muscle tone, and emotional regulation. Because of its strength, GG4 is considered a strain for experienced users. The initial effect often begins with a wave of mental euphoria. Users may feel happy, mentally relaxed, and temporarily disconnected from stress. Worries become less noticeable, and emotional tension decreases. This early phase can produce a calm, floating sensation in the mind. As the high develops, heavy physical sedation becomes dominant. Muscles loosen significantly, movement slows, and the body feels weighted. This is where the name Gorilla Glue comes from, as users often feel glued to their seat and unable to move easily. GG4 is frequently used for managing chronic pain, muscle spasms, and severe stress. Its strong sedative effect can also help with sleep problems. However, the intensity can overwhelm some users. Side effects may include dizziness, dry mouth, confusion, and anxiety when used in high doses. Mental clarity may decrease, making complex tasks difficult. Because of its powerful relaxing effects, GG4 is best used in the evening or at night in safe, comfortable environments. White Widow is a classic hybrid strain known for producing balanced mental stimulation and physical relaxation. It has been popular for decades because of its consistent effects and moderate to strong potency. Its chemical profile supports both alertness and calmness. The first noticeable effect of White Widow is increased mental clarity. Users often feel more aware, focused, and mentally sharp. Thoughts become organized, and sensory perception may feel enhanced. This makes activities like reading, listening to music, and conversation more engaging. Emotionally, White Widow can improve mood and reduce stress. Feelings of tension and irritability may fade, replaced by calm confidence. Social interaction often becomes easier and more enjoyable. Physically, the strain produces gentle muscle relaxation without heavy sedation. The body feels comfortable and loose, but not immobilized. This allows users to remain active if needed. White Widow's effects tend to last longer than many other strains, providing extended mental and physical balance. However, high doses may cause dry eyes, dizziness, or mental fatigue. Because of its balanced profile, White Widow can be used during the day or evening, depending on personal tolerance and activity level. Pineapple Express is a hybrid cannabis strain known for producing uplifting mental effects combined with light physical relaxation. It is valued for its smooth, manageable high and is often chosen by users who want improved mood without heavy sedation. Its chemical profile supports emotional balance and mild stimulation. The first noticeable effect of Pineapple Express is a rise in positive mood. Users often feel happier, more relaxed, and mentally refreshed. Feelings of stress and irritation tend to decrease, making everyday situations feel easier to manage. This emotional lift is usually gentle and steady, rather than overwhelming. Mentally, Pineapple Express promotes clear thinking and mild focus. Users may feel more engaged in conversations and better able to concentrate on simple tasks. Creativity may increase slightly, allowing for better idea flow and enjoyment of entertainment. Physically, the strain provides light body, relaxation, muscles loosen slightly, and minor aches may feel reduced. However, heavy fatigue is uncommon, allowing users to remain active and alert. Because of its moderate strength, Pineapple Express is suitable for daytime and early evening use. Side effects are usually mild but may include dry mouth, dry eyes, and occasional dizziness at higher doses. Gelato is a hybrid strain known for producing strong euphoria and deep physical comfort. It contains high levels of THC and a chemical profile that strongly influences mood, perception, and muscle relaxation. Because of its potency, gelato is typically used by experienced users. The initial effect of gelato is intense mental pleasure. Users often experience a surge of happiness, emotional warmth, and mental relaxation. Stressful thoughts fade, and a sense of well-being becomes dominant. This euphoric phase can be powerful and long-lasting. As the high continues, physical relaxation becomes more pronounced, muscles loosen deeply, and the body begins to feel heavy. This can help reduce chronic pain, tension, and physical fatigue. Unlike pure indica strains, gelato often maintains some mental alertness. Emotionally, gelato can reduce anxiety and improve mood, but high doses may cause mental fog or overstimulation. Users may feel mentally slowed if consumption is excessive. Side effects may include dry mouth, dry eyes, increased appetite, and mild dizziness. Because of its strength, controlled dosing is important. Gelato is best suited for evening use, social relaxation, or stress recovery periods. Purple Haze is a sativa-dominant strain known for producing creative, mentally stimulating, and emotionally uplifting effects. It has moderate to high THC levels and a chemical profile that promotes imagination, sensory awareness, and positive mood. This strain is often associated with artistic and expressive activities. The initial effect of Purple Haze is a light, dreamy mental state. Users may feel mentally relaxed, while also experiencing increased imagination. Thoughts may become more fluid, and ideas may connect more easily. This can enhance creative work such as writing, music, or visual art. Emotionally, Purple Haze tends to improve mood and reduce stress. Feelings of tension, sadness, or mental fatigue may fade. Many users report feeling more optimistic and emotionally open while using this strain. Physically, Purple Haze produces mild body relaxation without heavy sedation. Muscles loosen slightly, and physical discomfort may decrease, but users usually remain energetic and mobile. Sensory perception is often enhanced. Colors, sounds, and textures may feel more vivid, which can increase enjoyment of music and visual media. However, high doses may cause dizziness, anxiety, or difficulty concentrating. Purple Haze is typically used during the daytime or early evening, especially when creative focus is desired. Durban Poison is a pure sativa strain known for producing strong mental focus, alertness, and long-lasting energy. It contains high THC levels and a terpene profile that supports mental sharpness and motivation. Unlike many hybrids, it provides minimal physical sedation. The primary effect of Durban Poison is increased cognitive clarity. Users often experience sharper attention, faster thinking, and improved problem-solving ability. Tasks that require concentration may feel easier to complete. Emotionally, Durban Poison tends to promote confidence and positivity. Feelings of lethargy, low motivation, and mental fog are reduced. Many users report feeling mentally empowered and more socially comfortable. Physically, the strain produces very little heaviness. The body usually feels light, active, and responsive. This makes it suitable for physical activity, work, and outdoor tasks. Because of its stimulating nature, Durban Poison can increase heart rate and nervous energy in some individuals. At high doses, it may cause restlessness, anxiety, or racing thoughts. Durban Poison is best used in the morning or early afternoon when sustained focus and productivity are needed. Northern Lights is an indica-dominant strain known for producing powerful sedative and pain-relieving effects. It contains high levels of THC and calming aromatic compounds that strongly influence the nervous system and muscle relaxation. This strain is widely used for sleep and physical recovery. The first noticeable effect of Northern Lights is deep physical calm. Muscles loosen, tension fades, and the body begins to feel heavy. Movement may slow, and physical activity often becomes less appealing. This strong body response is central to its reputation as a nighttime strain. Mentally, Northern Lights produces a quieting effect. Racing thoughts slow down, stress decreases, and emotional pressure feels reduced. Users often describe feeling mentally peaceful and detached from daily worries. As the high develops, sedation becomes more pronounced. Eyelids may feel heavy, reaction time slows, and sleepiness increases. This makes Northern Lights useful for insomnia and disrupted sleep patterns. The strain is also commonly used for chronic pain, nerve discomfort, and muscle spasms. Its relaxing properties can dull physical sensitivity and reduce inflammation-related discomfort. Side effects may include dry mouth, dry eyes, and mild confusion at high doses. Because of its strong sedative nature, Northern Lights is best used in the evening or before bed. CBD-dominant cannabis strains are bred to contain high levels of cannabidiol, CBD, and very low levels of THC. Unlike traditional strains, these varieties do not produce strong intoxicating effects. Their primary purpose is therapeutic rather than recreational. The main effect of CBD-dominant weed is calmness without mental impairment. Users typically do not feel high. Instead, they experience reduced anxiety, emotional stability, and improved physical comfort. Cognitive function usually remains clear and unaffected. CBD interacts with the body's endocannabinoid system, which regulates mood, pain, sleep, and immune response. Through this interaction, CBD can reduce inflammation, ease nerve sensitivity, and lower stress hormone activity. Many people use CBD-dominant strains for anxiety disorders, chronic pain, arthritis, and sleep disturbances. These strains are also preferred by individuals who want symptom relief without losing focus or coordination. Physically, users may notice muscle relaxation and reduced tension. Mentally, thoughts remain organized and alert. This makes CBD strains suitable for daytime use, work environments, and medical treatment plans. Side effects are rare, but may include mild fatigue or dry mouth. Because THC levels are low, addiction risk and psychological dependence are minimal. High THC concentrates, including wax, shatter, and dabs, are cannabis products created by extracting and concentrating cannabinoids from the plant. These products often contain THC levels between 60% and 90%, making them far stronger than regular flower. The primary effect of concentrates is rapid and intense intoxication. When inhaled, THC enters the bloodstream quickly, producing strong mental and physical effects within seconds. Users often feel an immediate rush of euphoria and sensory distortion. Mentally, concentrates can cause altered perception, slowed reaction time, and impaired judgment. Thoughts may become disorganized, and memory function can temporarily decline. At high doses, confusion and disorientation are common. Physically, users may experience heavy body relaxation, dizziness, and coordination loss. Heart rate often increases, and blood pressure may fluctuate. These effects can feel overwhelming for inexperienced users. Because of their potency, concentrates carry a higher risk of anxiety, panic attacks, nausea, and paranoia. Regular use may increase tolerance and dependence more quickly than traditional cannabis. Concentrates are typically used by experienced users who understand dosing control. Proper environment and moderation are essential for safe use.
Okay, my wacky heads, what kind of weed type are you, man? I'm a sativa all day, you know. I don't hate the rest, but, you know, if I had to pick one, sativa is my shit. Yeah, I like that punch. So y'all go ahead and leave y'all comments and questions down low. Tell me which type you is. What do you gravitate to? Do you have specifics? You know, go ahead and comment down low. Let us know. If you have bad experience with these types also, let us know so we could be aware. We could bring that to the community's attention.